When we're born, our parents aren't given a rule book. They're not given instructions to what our natural gifts and talents and life's purpose are. Our parents aren't provided with a step-by-step guide on how to raise us to become adults. This proves to be even more difficult with the firstborn child because everything is new. And it's not as easy to be a parent as we think it's going to be. Parents do the best they can with the resources they have. But all parents have automatic references from their subconscious mind they're not even aware of or have any idea exist, including their fears, doubts, beliefs, and values that influence how they raise their children. Therefore, very few children are raised in the same type of an environment. A variety of things happen. Many people with their individual personal beliefs, values, and references influence us. We have unique experiences, and many changes occur throughout our lives, especially if there's extended family, divorce, and remarriage of one or both parents. There's a variety of things that take place because none of us are experiencing life the same way. Yet all our memories and experiences are stored in the unlimited space, the vault of our subconscious mind that we don't consciously remember. We just have patterns of behavior resulting from how we've been conditioned, influencing who we become. One of my favorite sayings is, you don't know what you don't know until something shows up. I like to share the first big moment in my life when I began to realize how valuable our subconscious mind is. I was 21 years old when I got married. I became pregnant with our first child about a year later. Well, prior to that, I've been learning a lot from Jim Rohn. One of life's lessons he taught me that has proven to be very valuable: take time to reflect upon the experience and turn it into something of value. When you or your coach know what questions to ask during times of reflection, your subconscious mind reveals a lot to you. I was super excited about my pregnancy, but at the same time, many fears appeared during my pregnancy that created a lot of doubts and about me being a mother that really scared me because I knew I did not want to be anything like how my mother and my stepmother were as mothers. I did not want to repeat, model either of them. And like I've said, people do the best they can with the resources they have, but it's still painful at the time that we're going through it. I was raised with a brother who was a year and a half older and another brother who was a year younger than I. My mom never had any friends. We never had people over. She kept to herself, isolated. My mom was emotionally withdrawn, suppressing her emotions and disconnected, even from us, her children. Her parents, our grandparents, lived less than an hour away, but we very rarely saw them, and they didn't come to our house. During those years, though, our house was in a cul-de-sac where all the houses are positioned like a horseshoe. Other kids lived on our street for us to play with, or we wouldn't have had any exposure to other children or people other than at school. Our dad moved out, left us when I was 8, my older brother 10, and my younger brother 7. During that time, we lived with our mom in an environment of total neglect, filth, and very little parenting. I remember one of the first times I cooked a meal, I was 9, because my brothers talked about it for many years. I fried the chicken on the outside, but it wasn't cooked on the inside. So imagine what happened when they put their fork in the chicken. But of course, I learned from that mistake, doing the best that I could by trial and error. Our dad married again when I was 11. We had only met our stepmother and her younger children, a son and 2 daughters, once prior to our father obtaining custody of the 3 of us. My brother was the oldest. I was my dad's only daughter and the oldest girl. Out of 6 children, our family of 8. Well, one of the reasons I share this with you is because my mother suppressed her feelings and emotions, and it didn't take long for me to realize that my stepmother was the opposite, more like an emotionally explosive person. I became responsible for all the household duties and chores at the age of 14, even meal planning, cooking all the meals, grocery shopping. My brother had his driver's license, so he drove me to the grocery store to purchase the groceries, but I did all the laundry, all the household duties for a family of 8 while expected to get high grades in school. Well, in addition to this, I was constantly criticized, screamed at, humiliated, and always told I was inadequate. I had the grades and credits to graduate midterm when I was 17 years old during my senior year in high school, so I began working 2 jobs until I was 18 and could move into an apartment. As I previously stated, you don't know what you don't know until something happens or shows up, especially when we're children, living a pattern of behavior for many, many years. I suddenly realized the value of what Jim Rohn had taught me. Take time to reflect upon the experience and turn it into something of value. I picked every book I could get my hands on. There weren't many self-education products available then, and the internet wasn't invented yet. So there wasn't much available for me to learn from at the time. I watched how other parents in my neighborhood were with their children. I even watched TV shows and movies to see what I could learn about parenting, even though I knew many of them were exaggerated and not very realistic. I did what came to my mind. And during that time, though, I realized how valuable our intuition is and what it can do for us. And also, it was a huge turning point for me because it was my first step for learning how to tap into my subconscious mind as well as model and learn from successful people. And as my oldest child, now my adult daughter, has stated to me, it's like you skipped 4 more generations, Mom, because of who we have all become as adults. Yet it cost me a lot. Years of mistakes, failures, and painful experiences, plus obsessive learning and money that you won't have to go through when you learn how to clarify what you want with these communication skills. The value and power of the subconscious mind became really important for me to learn more and more about and to share with others through the years, especially when I saw how many people, like my brothers and sisters, who modeled their parents, or even worse, living unhappy, unfulfilled, and many times destructive lives because they weren't aware of a better way to live or didn't know what to do to change their behaviors, also affecting how many children were being raised. Many of you are probably thinking, well, I wasn't raised in a family like that. I was raised in a very loving family when my parents stayed married for many years. You may be asking, how would my subconscious mind, childhood, and family life affect my success? Well, everyone has patterns of behavior in their subconscious mind, influencing the decisions and actions they take. And not all children in the same family align with a similar memory.